Snap shooting and short drawing are two things that plague a lot of traditional archers. They're things that I've struggled with a lot in my archery career. So today I wanted to take some time and discuss ways that you can fix your short drawing or your snap shooting. So first I want to tackle short drawing the bow. And short drawing is basically not coming to your full draw length. That doesn't necessarily mean not hitting anchor. It just means that you're not pulling back the bow the same amount every single time. Not hitting anchor is an obvious one that plagues a lot of traditional archers, and that's more of like a mental block that people have. The key to that is really get yourself a light bow, go up close to the target, and force yourself to hit your anchor. Hit your anchor and hold it there for like 5 seconds at least, and then release. And just keep doing that back and start backing away from the target little by little. You have to really force yourself in that situation to commit to hitting your anchor every single time, holding it there and then releasing. That's really all there is to not hitting your anchor point. You have to really be diligent about it. You can use like a mantra, like what Joel Turner teaches. Hit your anchor. Hit your anchor. Tell yourself that. Keep yourself on task. And as far as short drawing the bow, let's say you're coming to your anchor. So you're coming to your anchor, no problem at all, but there's still 7 inches hanging off your arrow sometimes. That's just a form issue, and there's two major components to that form issue. The first being your bow arm shoulder. If your bow arm shoulder is high, like it is here, you're going to have a lot of variation in your draw length. So if it's low, no problem at all. If my bow arm shoulder is up, even if I straighten my arm out all the way, I still have a good 4 inches hanging off the end of my arrow there. And obviously there's a lot of variation in between there. So what you need to do is make sure you keep that bow arm shoulder nice and low. There's two main ways to do that. You can bring your bow arm up, hold that bow arm shoulder down, so it's up here, and I pull it down. So I bring my left arm up, and I'm pulling that bow arm shoulder down, drawing the bow, and maintaining that tension there to keep that bow arm shoulder down. The second technique is a scoop. So you start down low here, and you're just like you're reaching towards the target and scooping the air, and that'll keep your bow arm shoulder nice and low too. Two techniques, play around with them, again with a light bow, see what works best for you. The second element of form that will contribute to your short draw is your alignment. So if I come to my anchor point here, or if I come to my anchor point here, and anywhere in between, there's a lot of variation in my draw length. So again, it's just about pointing your shoulders to the target every single time. So instead of drawing like this, I'm going to come up, point my shoulders to the target, and now I have perfect alignment and a consistent draw length every single time. If you think of your shoulders as a barrel of the gun, and anywhere you want the arrow to go, you point your shoulders to the target. I can stand perfectly square to the camera here and still point my shoulders to the target and come to my full draw length. Okay, and so now I want to talk about the form aspects that affect snap shooting. Snap shooting is as soon as you get to your anchor point, that arrow is gone. It doesn't give you time to acquire the target. Your bow arm never fully settles, and there's no time to engage your back, expand, and execute a good release. The arrow is gone before you ever know what happened. So the key to this is engaging that back muscle. I'll do a full video on expansion, how to engage those back muscles, but just as a quick overview, what I do is as I'm coming to anchor, I'll drop low, and when I drop low, that's what pushes my scapula up against my spine, and that's when I start loading that tension. And from there, it's almost like there's a string attached to my elbow, and someone's pulling my elbow by that string back and around my head. So I'm coming low, and then my elbow is coming back and around my head all the way through the release. And so again, going back to kind of what Joel Turner teaches, using a mantra inside of your head. Come to anchor, tell yourself, keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling, and then release. Doing this and being diligent about it, really committing yourself to that process, will go a long way to curing your snap shooting. Now, what happens to me is I shoot a very fast shot timing. I hit my anchor and I expand, and it takes me about a second and a half, and that arrow is gone. And so what will happen is my shot timing will tend to get faster and faster, and so I need something to keep me from allowing that to happen. And that's kind of where a clicker comes into play. So now this clicker, for those of you that are unfamiliar with them, it's mounted to the limb, and then it has a string here that I've served into the bowstring, and then adjusted it to my draw length. So when I hit my anchor and I expand, and then it'll click, and then I'll release. So what this does is it forces me to come to my anchor, expand through the shot, and then release. So this clicker will keep me accountable. You can also use the fletching, touching your nose. The only problem with that is you can get the fletching to touch your nose without coming to full draw. And how that happens is it's the same way you can hit your anchor point and not come to full draw. If your alignment is out, that fletching can touch your nose, and you can be 3 or 4 inches away from your full draw length. Despite that, using the fletching as a draw check is a really effective way to keep yourself on task and pulling through the shot. I've given you some things to work on here with your form and your mental game, so the rest is really up to you. Stay committed, stay focused, and I promise you'll have success. I hope you enjoyed this video. There's many more coming.